Isn't this one of the creamiest cacio e pepe you ever seen? Well, it's not from the restaurant, it's from your kitchen. You made this, you can make this. So have fun. Cacio e pepe is fun, it's challenging. Oh yeah, it is challenging, but we love the challenge, okay? So listen to my advice, use the right Pecorino Romano from Italy, and your cacio e pepe will always be a winner. Have you made cacio e pepe many times and it doesn't turn out? Your cheese is lumpy, it's not creamy enough. I know, many people have been through that. Me, I've been through that too. But today is the day everything will change. From today, you will be making a perfect, creamy cacio e pepe every single time. The perfect combination unlock new delicious flavors. Ingredients for a Roman cacio e pepe. 250 grams of Spaghettoni Quadrato. It's a thick spaghetto that will really take the experience to the next level. Yes, normal spaghetti will do the job, but if you can find thick spaghetti, it's the best thing to do. It's the real Roman way. In Rome, they use a pasta called tagliolini, which is very similar to thick spaghetti. For 250 grams of pasta, I'm using 125 grams of Pecorino Romano, so half the amount of pasta. If I'm making 100 grams of pasta, I use 50 grams of Pecorino Romano. This is a young Pecorino Romano, so it's not extremely salty. If you use a Pecorino Romano and it's got a black skin, that's one of the saltiest you can find. So you wanna maybe mix it up with Parmesan cheese to make it less saltier. But to be honest, if you find a young Pecorino cheese, you will be fine. It's very important that your cacio e pepe cheese is finely grated, just like this. It should be like snow. Here I have some grinded black pepper. I just did it now, it's fresh, okay? And it's ready to go. You can use as much as you like. Many people in Rome and online tell you to use the whole black pepper, to toast it first, and then you grind it. Yes, you can do that. I've been to Rome and I've tried best cacio e pepe in Rome. I spent time talking to the chefs, and none of the chefs I spoke to do this. They grind the pepper and put it straight in the pan. So it's up to you if you want to go through the process of toasting the black pepper first and then grind it, or if you grind it fresh and toast it when it's grinded. This is all we need. So the first thing to do is to boil the pasta. Normally when we cook pasta, I always tell you, use a large pot with lots of water and put a tablespoon of rock salt or sea salt. In this case, we're not going to use a large pot full of water. Instead, we still use a large pot, but we're going to put a lot less water. We're just going enough for the spaghetti. Why? It's because we want to have very, very starchy water, okay? Extremely starchy. So try to put less water, still in a nice pot. We are not adding any salt in this pasta water today. It's because we are using Pecorino cheese, which is salty enough for this dish. So we have natural salt from the Pecorino, so there is no need to add salt in the water. All right, now let's boil the pasta. When you put the pasta in, just quickly do this. Now this pasta needs 13 minutes to be cooked al dente. What we're going to do now, we're going to cook the pasta 2 minutes less than the cooking instructions. So 11 minutes, okay? So if your spaghetti packet says 9 minutes al dente, you take it out at 7 minutes. 2 minutes before it's ready. Now we need to toast the pepper, so it will release beautiful flavors. What we're going to do now, we quickly toast it, but gently you want to toast the pepper, okay? Not too aggressive. You want the flame to be nice and low. I'm going to add a little bit more. But when you toast this, the flavors come out and it's sensational. Those beautiful flavors go straight into your nostril, okay? For 1 minute, just toast this for a minute or two, and then we add some pasta water in it. Not too much. Oh, and this really relieves the beautiful flavors. They go straight into your nostril. Now we have this starchy water with pepper flavors. Let's keep cooking it for an extra minute on a low heat. In Rome, I've seen a few chefs adding extra virgin olive oil instead of pasta water. And I found it fascinating, but you know what? It really works, because then the extra virgin olive oil gets absorbed by the pasta, and it does work very, very well. Authentic Italian Cookbook is available worldwide. It's the first Vincenzo's plate cookbook ever. The recipes in the cookbook are made by passionate Italian home cooks and chefs. This is a book you must have if you love Italian food. Now you want to add a little bit more pasta water, because you do not want the pepper to get stuck to the bottom. All right, let's get this pasta water evaporate a little bit more. When I cook cacio e pepe, I normally like to use stainless steel pans, because it kind of spread the heat evenly and it cooks it perfectly. You can of course use a non-stick pan if you find it easier, but also using this pan, which really spread the heat also around the edges. This is a professional premium pan. Not everybody have it, but if you stick to a stainless steel pan, you don't go wrong with this recipe. Another pan that I found it very, very good, and it's actually cheaper, is the aluminum pan. Aluminum also spreads the heat evenly, and it's a very, very good pan to use for cacio e pepe. Maybe one of the best. As you can see, the water is reducing, and we got 2 more minutes before the pasta is going inside. So let's take these off the stove, and let's get ready for the pasta. Now we have to make the cream for the cacio e pepe, so let's put a little bit of water in. Let's mix the water with the pecorino cheese. Let's add more water. And can you see that? This is how you make the cream for the cacio e pepe. Look at that. Look at this beauty. This one is getting creamier and creamier and creamier. A little more touch. See how this is turning into cream? You want the cream to be smooth, just like that. See how smooth this is? That's the way it should be. All right. Now we can put the pasta in the pan and make the cacio e pepe. All right, let's do this together. Let's get the spaghetti. Don't forget, we're taking the spaghetti out of the water 2 minutes before they're al dente, so they are not ready yet. What we're going to do now, we're going to finish cooking them in this pan. Why? Because it's going to release more starch, which is what we need to create the creamy cacio e pepe. Now, when you got the pasta in there, be generous with the pasta water. Be generous with the pasta water and try and toss it. And what we're going to do now is we are going to finish it off. In the next 2 minutes, we cook it in the pasta water, but you want to stir it. This technique is called risottare. It's like when you make the risotto. So you want to keep moving the pasta around to make sure that it cooks evenly. We might need a little bit more pasta water. This should be on a medium-high heat. If you feel comfortable tossing, go with the tossing. As you can see, the pepper is making love with the pasta. So now we have beautiful pepper already making love with the pasta. Starchy pasta water is going to turn into a thick water cream. We have an extra minute now, but can you see how the water is becoming like a syrup? Can you see that? This is what you want to create a cacio e pepe. The syrup, the special syrup. If you follow these steps, guys, I guarantee you, you're gonna have a perfect cacio e pepe every time. This is ready, okay? Look, the water evaporated. Look at that, I've got that enough syrup, liquid gold, that will allow me to make a fantastic cacio e pepe. Now, switch off the stove. Here is a beautiful spaghetti. Let's put the cream inside. Look at that. Look at this marvelous cream. Look at this marvelous cream. Look at that. 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 Look how it's combining with the water. See? We're not getting the stringy cheese. I can smell sheep's. Bah! Bah! Now we stir, toss, 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 toss. Let's put the pan on top of the steaming water so that we can keep the bottom of the pan nice and warm. But as you can see, we're not getting the stringy cheese, which is exactly what we want. Look, the importance of the cheese. Guys, we have it. The cacio e pepe is ready. Look at the details of this cacio e pepe. You basically have a very creamy pasta. You have enough kind of runny cream at the bottom here, which is good to have that because this runny cream will thicken very, very soon. As soon as you put it in your plate and you start mixing, this runny cream will become a lot thicker. So this is how the cacio e pepe is made in the restaurants in Rome. See that? I believe this deserves more pecorino on top, another mountain of fresh pecorino, some freshly grounded pepper, another toss, and this is all done off the stove, guys. And look at that. Look now how thick this is. Look how thick this is. Super, super creamy now, look. Look how super creamy this is, look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Time to serve this super creamy cacio e pepe. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Look at this beauty. Look what we do now. We go to the pan and we want to get all this beautiful cream that we created. See all of this? All of this is gold. All of this is going right on top of our cacio e pepe. Let's go crazy now with the pecorino. Let's put the pepper on. And here we go. The cacio e pepe made to perfection. Ready to serve to a cheese lover. Look at that. Look at the creaminess of this. Stunning cacio e pepe. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, this is perfection. This is perfection. This is the creamy taste. Look. Wow. I feel like I'm in Rome. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I will see you on the next Vincenzo's Plate video recipe. E ora si mangia. Vincenzo's Plate.